Hello, quick video to show you how to make lemon and poppy seed cupcakes. So first things first, preheat the oven to 170, that's fan. It's probably about 190 normal. So 150 grams of, now this is not butter, this is stork or whatever the non-brand equivalent is. So 150 grams. If you're using butter, you'll need to have it soft, not melted, but soft enough to mix it up quite well. 150 grams of caster sugar. So what I'll do is I'll be using my handheld mixer to mix this up. I do have a stand mixer as well, but I'm not going to use that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this and I'll whisk up the butter a little bit and then I'll add in the sugar and I'll whisk that up as well. And then I'll be adding 3 eggs and mixing all that in, 150 grams of self-raising flour, and then I'll be adding the zest of 2 lemons and some poppy seeds. So I've already grated the zest. I also squeezed the lemons and put the juice. I sifted it so there wasn't any seeds, and I've stuck it in the fridge. It's been in there for a few days because you need that later on, so make sure you hold on to that. So I'm going to pause for a second and start mixing up my butter, and then I'll be able to show you what I'm doing next. So I just gave this quick mix. I'm going to throw in all the sugar, mix it up. Okay, so it's well combined. And I'll just put that over there just now. The next thing I'm going to do is to add 3 eggs. So what I normally do is break the eggs into a cup or something, because otherwise you might end up with bits of shell. So 3 eggs in. I read somewhere once, probably years ago, I think you're supposed to put a tiny bit of flour in when you add your eggs into that mixture, because you add in the eggs, you mix it all up, and then you'll add the flour in sort of near the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrape the sides of the bowl. This is a really nice deep bowl as well, because otherwise you might end up with bits flying everywhere. You could do this by hand as well. I just don't, because I don't really have the strength to, and I'm quite lazy. So I'm going to add in my eggs. Don't need to beat them first, you just add them straight in. Just scrape the sides a little bit again. And I'll put a tiny bit of flour. Let's put like a teaspoon. I normally do it with my hands, but my hands are sticky. I'm going to do this on quite a low speed. I'm not going to like whisk it right up, so you'll notice that I turn that around a lot when I'm mixing it, and it's just to make sure that you get all of the mixture. Right, so I need to weigh out my flour. So it was 150 grams of self-raising flour. There we go. So that's 150 grams. Now my flour is pre-sifted, but I'm just going to do it again just to be sure. Just move that out of the way. Okay. Best way to add flour in to this type of thing is to get a metal spoon and fold it in, so I'm not going to use the mixer again. Just push the rest of that flour through. So yeah, I'll get rid of this because I don't want to over mix the mixture. So I'll get a metal spoon. Now I'm folding, which is like you're not stirring it, you're sort of turning it over like that. So you just need to do it quite slowly, quite patiently. So if you ever see anything about folding in, that's what you're supposed to do. It's just do it gently, and that is kind of against my nature because I would rather just mix it really fast. But it's better not to do that. Okay, I think actually possibly when you use baking powder and stuff, it's more important to do it more gently, but we're using self-raising flour for this, so it's actually not as important. So once it's just about mixed, because I'll have to keep mixing it once I've added in some more ingredients. So I'm going to add in, so this is the rind of 2 lemons there. I just grated it with a normal cheese grater. You always have the really small, the side with the really small bits, so that's what I use. Or you can buy little cute graters, which I've got one over there from my lovely friend. So I put the rind in, and now I'm going to add in the poppy seeds. Now it says 1 tablespoon, but I really like poppy seeds, so I'm not really going to measure it. I'll probably put in like 1.5 to maybe, I'm not sure really. Don't put too many in, get stuck in your teeth. So yeah, I'm just going to give that a nice mix. Not too fast, just gently, but just, you know, have a look and make sure there aren't any like lumps of flour, and if you see any, just give them a little sort of shuggle or push down on them to try and break them up. So this mixture is for 12, so these are cupcakes. What I'm probably going to do is, I've got this which belongs to another lovely friend of mine, thanks. This is a silicone, but these are like mini ones, so this is 12, so I'm going to fill this and make 12 mini ones, and then whatever's left of the mixture, I've then got that's more of like a muffin tray, but it doesn't matter, I'll just put some cake cases in there and I'll put them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, for these ones, I'll, you know, basically get a teaspoon, you know, a big blob, and just put that in. So let me see if I can show you. So I'm basically just going to blob it in like that. And that's it. I'm not going to do anything else with it. So I'll pause just now while I fill these 12, and then I'll give you some more info. Right, so I have filled these, and I've also filled my 6 bigger ones. These are probably about half full. The little ones are almost right up to the top. They'll come out and over, but that should be okay. So this is, these cook at, so as I said, 170, that's fan. Now it says 20 minutes, so if you imagine, if I had made 12 of these, as the recipe said, they would be bigger than the ones that I have here. So they're probably not going to take as much as 20 minutes. So I'm going to put them in, and then I'll check on them after 10 minutes. I'll keep having a look at them, and then they'll start to go a little bit sort of brown on the top, but not much. Obviously if you touch them on the top, they'll be springy, so if they're not springy, then they shouldn't come out yet. These ones will take a little bit longer because they're bigger. I'm going to put them at the top of the oven. I don't think it really matters when you've got a fan oven, but if you know your own oven, my oven is quite hot, so I'll probably put these at the top only because I've got something else in there. But I might turn it down a touch, especially if they look like they're getting a bit brown a bit quickly. So I'll just put these in the oven. And what I'll do is, because I'm not really very good, I don't know how to edit or whatever, I'll post a picture of them in the comments or somewhere. Just to carry on with the recipe, So there's two things that you do with this after you've baked them. If you don't have to do these. So the first thing is to make like a syrup, because when you take them out of the oven, you're supposed to like pierce a hole into the top of it and then pour some of the syrup in. Now the syrup is made with the juice of 1 lemon, which is probably, that's probably about maybe 2.5 lemons worth of juice, and I really got a lot of juice out of them, so I'll maybe use about 2/3 of that, not 2/3, maybe about 1/3 of that, or I don't know. And the other thing is 50 grams of caster sugar, and then you just whisk that together until the sugar's all dissolved. So you'll feel it, because you'll hear if there's still any grainy bits going around. I'm not going to do that because I'll put icing on them instead, because it's just a little bit, I'm not on a diet as such, but I think you can have too much sugar sometimes, and I think I'd rather have the icing on the top to make them look nicer, rather than, you know, if I have to choose one or the other, I'll choose the icing. Now the icing that's suggested for this is actually butter icing as well, which again is really quite unhealthy. And that recipe is 110 grams of butter, the juice of 1 lemon, and 220 grams of icing sugar. So it's a lot. What I will probably do is just make like a normal icing. So I'll get my icing sugar and I'll start mixing it with the lemon juice, and I'll make it, and it'll probably be quite tart, but the cakes themselves are really sweet, so that's what I'll do. So I can post the recipe, although I usually just, you know, I'll put some of this in a bowl, probably about, I'll start off maybe about 1/3 of this, which isn't that much, and I'll pour in icing sugar, and you know yourself, you just have to keep mixing it in until it's of a consistency where you can pour it, but it won't just fall off. And don't do that when the cakes are still hot. So when the cakes are cooked, take them out of the oven, try and put them on a wire rack if you haven't got one. If you've got one of these, I don't really want to show you my grill because it's really dirty. Oh, sorry about that. I've been waiting for this parcel for days. Anyway, so yeah, I will just put I'll just make the icing. Sometimes on the back of the icing packet it tells you how to make it. And the last thing I'll say about this recipe is, people who know me well know I'm more of a sort of chocolate person. I don't really like fruit that much. It's a bit of a penance having to eat it, but I really like these cakes, especially when I make the little mini ones. And my niece loves them as well, so double bonus. Anyway, thanks for watching.